Be on the swim team, and for dance I gave that up as well. So.
She's my mother.
I think we should have the big lights on.
Yeah, we should.
Love you, Mom.
Wait,
I have 3 weeks. I'm waiting for you. You're in here. You're going to be very surprised when you get to know me. Why did you choose me? Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Our third, and hopefully many, many more in the future. And our third, and hopefully many, many more in the future. Someone who shows a commitment and dedication and sacrifice that she expects not only of herself, but of her children.
Gentlemen, this is Nancy DeAngelis, and welcome to another segment in the series Remarkable Women in Your Community. And I'm in New Paltz today, and I'm here to introduce you to Sue Slasnick, who I originally met down.
I get my strength back here. All right, Susan and Rebecca, we can do this. Susan Slotnick, you are the mother of 3 daughters. Like you might have been a 60s girl. Do I have it?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, you still hanging on. All right. So.
It's fun to be around her. She's a crazy person. She's glamorous. She's
What?
and she's fun to be with. She's crazy. She's cool, and she's her own person. She doesn't dress like nobody.
I really know who is like unique and special. Like she doesn't care what anyone else thinks about her, so it makes her really special. It makes her really special.
Well, she's different and makes people feel good about themselves.
She's one of the few grown-ups I know that are like cool and can actually hang out with the kids.
And so is Rebecca.
All right? The rest you have to work for us. All right, men. They're writing songs of love, but not for you, is the name of the singing at each other and giving each other looks and telling each other where to stand. Try staying connected with your own body. 6, 7, go. And 2. And 5. Look, if it steps are too hard, then that's what you need to know. Not to stop class and ask, then you need to know, hey, my body can't do this yet. I'm not in shape. Step, hitch, hip, touch, turn, down, around, and up, paddle. Turn, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay, that was nice. I would like everybody to watch Bethany and Jonathan do the whole thing.
That I had finally choreographed for the first time in all my years of dancing a number for myself. I think now that I'm celebrating my 50th year of life, I'm finally going to do a first public performance of me dancing.
I've been dancing all my life because she's my mother. But
shall we sing over her shoulder, girl, to the day. Without cat, but that's my cat dog. Hey, baby, tell me so, how to get there. Careful, they go, you know you'll be glad.
Our worst fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to manifest the glory of God in us. It is not just in some of us. It is in everyone. And when we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Nelson.
Have the hardest piece yet. Come right back, sit down on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Brooks.
And here's Jarrett. What do you want to say about tonight?
I want some M&Ms.
All that music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you reach the shape, but make sure you take your time. 5, 6, well, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah? Make sure you fulfill all that music. Same thing for all these. 2, 3, 4. Don't get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit you. Yeah? All this has to be so huge. It's kind of like confusion. You don't know which way to go. You don't know if you should believe yourself or believe him. And you're like, oh my gosh, what should I do? Yeah. So it has to be a focus.
If you divorce yourself from the physical,
Just speak.
okay, if you divorce yourself from either the physical or the emotional part of the dance, neither one of them have a point. They become completely pointless. If you divorce yourself from the physical, nobody will be able to understand what you're doing because it's a language, yes? Nobody will understand your language. If you divorce yourself from the emotion of it, nobody will be able to understand that language either because you're trying to speak and communicate, which would be the point, in my humble opinion, of art, is to communicate. So you're not communicating if you divorce yourself from the emotion and get caught up in the content. So you have to do both. It's a lot behind it. I mean, you could teach anybody, half the people in the street you could teach to be an athlete. Can you teach them to be an artist? You know what I mean? Can you really teach them to be an artist? You can teach them to run really fast. You can teach them to stretch well and turn their legs out. You can't teach them how to express themselves.
The contribution to the group's development made by two extraordinary African American dancers, Earl Mosley and Brian Brooks. These men
off with content.
people fun. Looking at home, I see some every day it was gone. Never team, I see it playing, saving my lawn. Dangerous, my people should be accurate. Have to get the movie so we accurate.
PK step, step, PK step, step, PK step, step, PK step, step, PK and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 4, 7, 10. How we do? You know, I did another. You are correct, Susan. 8. Swing that leg around. 1, hold 2. Focus goes to the front. 3, 4. Swing it around. 5, 6, and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep the legs hidden, not chained. Don't pull them in. 8, 1, head 2. Yes, you have to really bring that back knee that you go before. Reach, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, shimmer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, group 1, lead. Group 2. Group 3. Okay, really move you guys, shimmer. Keep it going, build it up. Build it up. Okay, go home now. That's enough.
More hips.
Caitlin? Sorry.
I feel like apologizing to Caitlin too.
I feel like apologizing to everyone I was ever mean to. Apologizing to everyone I was ever mean to. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I won't do it again. What can I do?
Hey, Scott! Scott, listen. I'm gonna show you like... Scott, listen. I'm gonna show you like $200. You do owe me a lot of money, Jonathan. I know. And I'm sorry. I know. Okay. I don't have $200. It's okay. No, I wanted to do something to pay you back. What can I do? Well, could you help me with my Spanish homework? Yeah, man, I'd really like to do that. Marcus,
For helicopter.
Okay, come here, I'm gonna tell you a story. Very quick, and this is the way we'll end today. There is such a thing as magic. Come. I'm gonna tell you a real story. I'm going to tell you a story. All right? At some point in my career, I got a little resentful, and I said, I'm going to be 50 years old, and I've never performed, and I'm making dances for other people all the time. So I started to I went to a concert and I heard this song. And it really spoke to me towards the things that I was thinking about at the time. So I started to make this dance in secret, and I really worked on it. And you guys who've seen the videotapes in my house know that I video everything. So I had hundreds of hours of me going through each gesture, trying to figure out exactly what I meant. No intention whatsoever of ever performing in public for the first time at 49 years old. In come a man, calls me up. He says to me, my name is Father Francis Gargani. I'm a Catholic priest, and I would like to study dance with you. Well, you guys know the way I talk and how irreverent I am and crazy. So I said to this priest, you can't come study with me because it's not for you. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth when I teach adults. I have no idea. He said, well, you didn't call me, I called you. So he started to come to the class. 3 weeks into the class, he comes up to me with a tape in his hand. He says, I don't know what it is about this song that reminds me of you, but you have to listen to it. And it was this song. It was this exact song. Not exactly a popular song. We were both like stood there and went, this is too weird. Then he said to me, I would like you to perform it in the chapel at Mount St. Alphonsus. You don't have to invite anybody on the anniversary of my being a priest for 25 years. During that time, he was sitting in a cafe in New York City, and a friend said to him, I want to introduce you to somebody. And he introduced him to the piano player who plays for this. This is coincidence number 2. That's amazing. So I performed it. You guys were there, but you were too young to appreciate what this meant to me. In front of the priest, to metal rock, which he picked up on, and the guy who made the music. And it was my one and only performance. I had a career that lasted for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And in that time, it was as rich and full as most people's careers are for a lifetime. And now I want to give you the gift of the dance. Did you like it? Would you like to continue working on it? Okay. Go home and make magic wherever you go. I noticed. Your foot felt...
So forth. Bucknell. I don't even know where Bucknell is, actually. John Hopkins. I got stuff from Washington and Lee. I think I want to go to Florida, man, in the Sunshine State. But I don't know. There's plenty of other places we can look, too. But most importantly, we've got to fill out these forms, because I got to take them back in Monday so we can send them off.
Monday?
Monday. That's what they say. I think I want to be an art major, Dad, like Davin.
When the time comes to send a son or daughter off to college, most families will discover a new kind of stress, most of which comes from a lack of knowledge about just what to expect along the way. During this program, we are going to take you through the overwhelming amount of paperwork and information that is involved in getting into college. We'll look at what to consider in choosing a college, what's important in the college application, what national tests you'll have to take. We'll discuss tuition fees and scholarships, and we'll focus on the biggest worry of all, how to finance the cost of a college education. Along this road to college, we'll give you a glimpse of campuses across the country, like these images from the University of Colorado.
Well, I think college is very important. I think sometimes we misunderstand it a little bit. You know, college is not where you go to plan the rest of your life necessarily. I believe college is where you go to learn, and that you continue to learn the rest of your life. I'm for lifetime learning.
I grew up in the South in a very narrow social and economic environment. And had it not been for college, I don't know if I would have had the hope to pursue my dreams. It was really in college that I learned about the world outside of my own neighborhood.
The evidence is that the difference in earning power
between those who have some education beyond high school and those who don't is greater than ever. What you learn really does determine what you earn. It is very, very clear. And in fact, I think a rough estimate is that you can earn twice as much with a college education as without it.
I actually come from a loving family who had limited resources. And it was through education that I was able to make my connections and links with others who suffered and provide different kinds of illumination and insight so that they could have the same liberating and empowering experience in education that I have been blessed to have. So I would hope that we never overlook the fundamental role that education can play in making the world a better place and in bringing us together in a time in which so many are so deeply disillusioned and discouraged.
You know, both your mother and I went to City Community College. And I think you'd really like it if you give it a chance. Hey, you wouldn't have to give up your room. You could take the bus to class. Now, wouldn't that be cool?
I already take the bus to class, Dad. I'm sick of it. I want to go someplace where I live close to school. But we got to look at this other stuff, too, you know?
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't want to immediately shut out.
Hold on, come on. We're going overboard here. What you need to do is decide what you want out of a college education. Big schools have their advantages, little schools have their advantages. You need to think about what you want to major in, your location. It might be better if you go out of town to a bigger school.
Or a small one close to home.
Well, the important thing is that you make a decision that you can live with for the next 4 years.
Maybe even 5.
It's not easy to pick a college, but if you have a computer or access to one in school, there's a lot of good information on the internet. College View is a good place to start. Let's say you're looking for a college in California and you think you might major in applied mathematics and you want to participate in the swim team and join ROTC. You just click through your interest and this site will come up with several suggested schools. Of course, if you want to learn more about a particular school, you can use one of the search engines to find their homepage. This is Lewis and Clark College. On most university homepages, you'll find campus pictures, school maps, courses offered, admission requirements, off-campus programs, and much more. It's a fast and inexpensive way to tour the colleges.
I chose Wellesley College because it's a small college and the teachers know the students personally there. I visited a class and it was a small class and most of them are this way, unlike a larger university. In these classes, students participate a lot in the discussions and it leads to a very active learning environment. And the teachers were very friendly too, and that's something else I really enjoyed.
I come from a small town and from a small high school. I wanted something larger, a larger university in a larger city. I wanted to experience more. In our town, we had one theater. I wanted a choice of movies, culture, music. I also wanted the curriculum offerings of a large university and the teachers and the students themselves. I just wanted a change of pace. Okay, you got it?
Yeah, fine.
Great.
Fine. Thanks. Sure. Oberlin, Rice, Guilford, Bethany, Chapel Hill, Florida State. Check out this action. New College in California, California State University, Bakersfield, University of California, Los Angeles. There's a lot of colleges in California. Columbia College Hollywood, Design Institute of San Diego, Dominican College of San
Eric,
Rafael.
whoa. You've picked too many colleges. You gotta narrow down your choice. I mean, you gotta find a college that suits you. Well, you have to find a school like, well, what's your major? What do you want your major to be? You pick a school for that, or location. Have you thought about location?
Oh, I've thought about location. Florida, man. Surf, sun, and surf.
Oh, now don't you want to go somewhere where you can come home to see your girlfriend on the weekends?
Oh, sure, yeah, girlfriend.
Sooner or later, you'll have to come up with a short list of colleges to apply to.
say 5 or so. And when you do, the experts will tell you that you should visit the schools. I think it's a good idea. I'd recommend maybe checking out a lecture or checking out dorm life at, say, 10 p.m. on a weeknight. It's a good idea to find out what kind of student goes there and whether you can fit in.
Okay, here's my final list. I've worked it out. There's a Reader's Digest version of colleges that I would like to apply to.
Now this is a good list. Like this, we've got private schools, public, small schools, large.
Universities.
Yeah, medium size. This one would be really good for your major.
Yeah, well.
You got any information on costs?
Yeah,
You know,
some.
book, tuition? How much is this going to set your old man back?
This
is not too bad.
Yeah, that's actually room and board. With tuition, it's down there. That's
$23,000?
Oh, honey, I'm not even sure it's realistic for a family of our income.
$23,000?
Even with your father's and my income, that would be really hard to handle.
Many students and many families just look at the bottom line and they look at this tuition and they say, my God, I can never afford that. How can I ever take that out of my paycheck, or how could my son or daughter ever earn that in the summers or even working in college? But what you may not know is that there are lots of opportunities for financial aid. And I think that it varies a great deal as to what kind of advice you get. And guidance counselors vary a great deal. They may encourage some students and discourage others. And especially if you're the first person in your family to think about going to college, you may not have that kind of advice handy in your own household or amongst your friends. I was the first person in my family to go to college.
I wouldn't decide where to apply or not to apply based on the cost of the college or what one believes one can afford. You can always turn a college down if they admit you and don't offer enough financial aid. On the other hand, I think the general rule is that the most expensive colleges, such as our own, have the most generous financial aid programs. Apply to a college, apply for financial aid. If you get adequate financial aid, you'll be very happy. If it turns out it's not adequate, you can simply say no to the college. You cannot get financial aid and you cannot get admitted if you don't apply either for admissions or for financial aid.
Financial aid is available for many college-bound students, and we'll explore that topic later on. Right now, let's go over some things to think about in selecting a college. What location are you interested in? Does it matter if the college is far from home? Are you looking for a college in a large city, a suburban area, or a small town? Do you want a large university or a small college? What type of education are you looking for? A traditional curriculum with many required classes, or a school that encourages courses designed for independent study? Have you considered a school that specializes in one area, such as art, music, business, or engineering? How about your major? Does your college choice excel in that field? Is it important to be at a school with ethnic and cultural diversity, or would you prefer a place where most students are just like you? Is a school with a religious affiliation an important matter? Have you thought about a single-gender college? Does the school's sports program factor into your decision? As you can see, there are many things to consider in selecting a college.
Need information, application regarding course catalog, scheduling, important dates, enrollment.
Once you've narrowed down your college choices, you need to ask for an application. Of course, this shouldn't be your first step toward college. That journey should begin early on in high school, where it's especially important to take the right courses: math, science, English, history, and a foreign language. And you need to take the national tests.
Begin.
Analogies. Okay, done these before. Which pairs of words best describe the relationship of the original pair? Postulate, theorem. A, dog, mammal. B, fish, lake. C, foundation, house. D, needle, red.
In the analogy problem you've just seen, you need to make a relationship between the two words. Postulate, theorem. You need postulates to build a theorem. So let's look at our choices. Dog, mammal. Do we need a dog to build a mammal? No. Fish, lake. Do we need a fish to build a lake? No, that doesn't make sense either. Foundation, house. Do we need a foundation to build a house? That's a possibility. Needle, thread. Do we need a needle to build a thread? No. So obviously your choice is foundation, house. When you're taking your SAT, you need to remember these pointers. First, do not feel like you need to answer all the questions. They do not expect that, so don't try to do it. Slow down and relax while you're taking it. Questions are by the order of difficulty. Say there's 24 questions, the first 8 are easy, the second 8 are more difficult, and the last 8 are hard. Easy questions have easy answers, hard questions have hard answers. So if you're looking at a hard question and you come up with an easy answer, it's probably incorrect and you need to look at it again. Eliminate your wrong answers, similar to what we did in the analogy problem. Lastly, guess if you can eliminate up to 2 choices. You have a pretty good chance of getting it correct. The very final thing I'd like to say is to increase your score by learning vocabulary. Work on your verbal skills.
Just about every college requires you to take some national test. Many scholarships are based in part on your test results. You should plan on taking the PSAT in your junior year. It will give you an idea of what the tests are like. PSAT results are one of the qualifying elements for the National Merit Scholarships. You should take the SAT or the ACT in the spring of your junior year, and again in your senior year. Colleges will tell you which tests they want you to take.
The internet has some good sites which can help you prepare for the tests. The College Board homepage lists not only the test dates, times, and rules, but also lets you register right here for your SATs. They even have some cool test tips. Other useful sites include ETSNet, Kaplan, and Princeton Review.
When I work with my students, I explain they are in control of 4 basic areas. 1, what courses should I take? 2, what are my grades in those courses? 3, what standardized tests should I take? And 4, what extracurricular activities should I be involved with? A difficult curriculum accompanied with good grades will help the student get into the college they choose. One other area I strongly recommend is for you to keep a college folder. In the folder each year, you should keep grades, activities, and awards, because during the senior year, it is important to fill out the college application, and you will have that information.
Here's what our application looks like. It's 3 pages long, require you to complete some various information, and it does have an essay component. We also require high school transcripts and either the SAT or ACT scores. I suggest on the application that you write or type neatly, check for spelling, and everything being accurate. The essays need to be well written. I also suggest that you might want to practice with a sample copy, and above all, keep a Xerox copy of the application you submit.
Let's take a closer look at a typical application. It begins with the usual questions: name, address, social security number, and so on. They'll ask you about your major or academic interests. There's a place to check if you want consideration for financial aid. Also a space to check if you're a veteran. One section will ask about your family, parents' names, address, occupation, and if other family members are attending college. Transfer students from another college will have a series of questions to answer. Usually there's an essay component, often asking you to write about yourself. Likely they'll ask for recommendations.
If someone I trust, like my mom, tells me that the town bridge isn't going to fall down while we're driving over it, I believe her, and that helps a lot.
If I worry that all my friends are suddenly going to be mean to me, and then time goes by and they're still being nice, I guess I can realize that my worry isn't very real.
When I get up from a bad dream and think there's a monster in my room, I get up, turn on the light, and look under my bed.
Well, when someone you trust tells you not to worry, or when your fears don't happen, that's helpful. But facts, cold hard facts, are often the best way to deal with unrealistic worry. How about it, guys? What are some other ways?
Maybe it's like when you're afraid. You have to start out by realizing and admitting that you're worried. Then you have to talk to someone about how real your worry is.
And then you've got to try to relax.
Okay, well, I've already done a lot of that already. I mean, I've already admitted that I was worried about the airplane crash thing. And then we talked it out, and I realized now that it wasn't a very realistic fear. But I still don't feel relaxed.
I got a way to get you relaxed. You are getting sleepy. Very, very sleepy.
Rebecca?
Cool it, Jamal. Mark, you can start by taking a few deep breaths.
Go ahead.
It does make me feel calmer.
And when you're calmer, you can look at your worries with a cooler head. Not only your unrealistic worries, but your real ones as well.
Hey, you know what I just thought of?
I bet you're gonna tell us.
Sometimes I think about unrealistic things. So then I don't have to think about my real worries. You mean like when you had to be home alone and you started imagining dinosaur-type monsters? And what I was really afraid of was that somebody might break in.
So what are you saying? That Mark's not really so worried about the plane crash? That there's something else? Come on.
Actually, Keezy's right. I didn't think of this till just now, but there is something else I'm worried about. And it has to do with going out on the playground.
Do you want to tell us about it, Mark?
I guess. It first started a few weeks ago. I was out on the playground playing handball with my brand new Super Ball. And then those two creeps, Dell and Mike, came out.
Check out the little baby. He's playing. The brand new ball, too. Hey, give that back. How about that, Mike? Little baby wants his ball back. Oh, forget it. Keep it. I don't want it anyway. Oh, come on. You gotta go tell your mommy. Yeah, come back. Don't you want your little ball back?
And that was just the beginning. Every few days, they'd come and take something from me. Lunch money, baseball cards, little things. But it was embarrassing.
It was stealing, and it's just plain wrong.
I bet you were really worried about meeting up with those guys again.
So that's why you didn't want to go on the playground. And you didn't feel well, and you stopped having fun. And you started to worry about other things, like plane crashes.
Yeah.
You know, Mark, keeping a worry like that inside can be very stressful.
Well, it's just that maybe since my parents got divorced, a part of me feels like it doesn't matter. Sharing your worries can't change anything.
Well, sometimes, like with your parents' divorce, it can't change the basic situation. But talking about it almost always helps.
Yeah, like if you would have told me, I would have gone out there and given those guys a piece of my mind.
You know, I could very easily have a little chat with the playground superintendent, and that would put an end to your problem.
Really? Just like that?
Just like that.
I should have talked about my problem sooner.
It sure helped me when I was so scared about staying alone. And me when my grandma died.
It feels so awful, keeping things all bottled up. And it feels so much better if you can just share a little. Anyway, isn't that what friends are for?
Yeah, I guess.
You may be a worrywart, but you don't have to wart alone. I am a worrier, in case you never met one. I got so many worries, I'll worry I'll forget one. That's my monologue. And if I had a dog, he'd be a worrier. Worrywart worries all through the day. Worrywart's imagination runs away. Worrywart thinks about things too long. Worrywart wonders what's gonna go wrong. Worrywart sits by the apple tree, wonders how many fat worms she'll see. Worrywart needs a good talking to. What can be done for you? I worry on the way to school, I worry every day. I'd worry on the network news if I could have my way. Once I start to worry, then I never stop or falter. I'd worry in an interview to Barbara Walters. Worrywart worries on endlessly. Worrywart goes on a worry spree. Her sense of humor has been misplaced. I once heard a horse ask why the long face. No, he didn't. Worrywart, wake up and have a ball. I'm trying to. Gotta stop waiting for the sky to fall. But I don't want to be a worrywart. When we think of worrywarts, we all agree. That's not gonna be me. That's not gonna be me. That's not gonna be me.
You know, I feel better already.
Being active, finding things to do really helps. Get your mind off your worries. So what do you say, playground?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Kesia, you okay? Oh, fine. Just fine. What are you looking for? Nothing. Rebecca, are you sure a plane couldn't just, you know, right?
Presentation of AIT.
Do you wanna know what it's all about? Start looking from the inside out, and you know that there will be no doubt. Looking from the inside out, looking from the inside out, looking from the inside out, looking from the inside out.
door.
May I help you, Rebecca?
Can't get the door open. Thanks, Mr. Green.
You're welcome.
That was our principal. I guess I didn't make such a good impression. But I was determined to get in. Determination means feeling you have a firm purpose, a goal you mean to accomplish no matter what. Have you ever been really determined about something?
We moved when I was in 4th grade. It was hard getting used to a new school, but I was determined to make new friends, fast.
At first, I wasn't too crazy about taking music lessons. It was my mom's idea. But then, when I started doing real well on my trumpet, I was determined to get good enough to join the band.
Last summer, I was determined to make enough money from babysitting to buy my own CD player. It took a long time, but I did it.
It feels great when we accomplish our goals, but sometimes we may not be clear on what our goals are or what we need to do to make them a reality. Let me tell you a story about a couple kids I know.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Do you have test tomorrow?
No. Bye. Bye. Good job today. Good night, Jory. See you tomorrow.
How could this happen to me?
Jory, I know you had a lot of great ideas for this project. You told me. But I can only grade you on what you put down on paper.
I understand.
Hey, Mark, I knew you'd show. Can't stay. Got homework. Everybody's got homework, man. So what? You could hang out for a while. Maybe some other time, Ricky, okay? You're making me look bad. You know how much I stood up for you already with these guys. Yeah, you told me. So get it together. It's not like you've got anything else going, right? Yeah, okay.
It may not seem like it, but Jory and Mark were facing the same problem, and that problem had to do with determination.
That's tough. How'd Ricky start hanging with those guys anyway?
I don't know. It's not like they're so bad or anything. I mean, they have fun.
But they get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, tell me about it. But what am I supposed to do? I mean, you don't know what it's like. No, you don't. David, you've got a lot of things to do. I mean, you're smart, you're on the hockey team, you're in band. What do I have?
Well, what do you want?
I mean, besides a mountain bike?
Come on.
I don't know.
I wish you could talk to my cousin Daniel. He was in a gang for a while, but now he's amazing. Once he sets his mind to do, watch out, it gets done. He really knows where he's headed.
Later on, Mark shared some of the problems he'd been having, and David told the rest of us about his cousin Daniel. So the group decided to invite Daniel to come after school and talk about his experiences. Daniel is a senior at our local high school. He's on the track team and has a job a couple days a week after school. He puts in a lot of effort keeping his grades up. But aside from that, the main place Daniel puts his energies is photography. He takes photos for the school paper and has stacks of photos of people, places, events, everything.
I'm keeping a kind of photo diary of my family. Here's David.
Let me see that.
I'm a member of the school photo club, so I can use their equipment. Different kinds of cameras, darkroom facilities. They even have video cameras. I'd like to know how to operate any camera made, but my goal is to be a newspaper photographer.
I asked Daniel to answer some of our questions about how he learned to set his goals.
When David said the class wanted to interview me, I thought, great, let's tape it. I've already got the camera recording. Who wants to go first?
I will.
You're on.
Did you always know what you wanted to do? I mean, being a photographer, was that always your goal?
I was clueless. When I was your age, I was in a gang. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't have any sense of direction. But then one day, my dad took me to a football game. Only I wasn't paying attention to the field. I started watching this guy taking pictures of the action. And I thought, that's his job? I want to do that. So I found where I wanted to go, but I still didn't have any idea how to get there. I got discouraged, and I told myself, be real, you're never going to be a photographer. But I kept thinking about it, and I talked to one of my teachers, and he said, why not? Find out what you need to do to get where you want to be. So I did, and I learned how to set goals for myself.
How did you do that? I mean, I have a goal to do well in history, but that doesn't mean I'm getting A's.
Been there. Okay, well, the first thing I did when I was setting goals for myself, I really thought about what I was good at, my strengths. And then I thought about my weaknesses, where I needed to work harder.
The first step in setting your own direction is deciding who you are and where you are. One way to make this clear is to write down what you like, what you're good at, what you want and what you need. And then write down what you don't like, where your problems are and what you need to work on.
My goal was to become a photographer, so I had to overcome one basic weakness. I didn't know how to use a camera.
But you know, what if I decide my goal is to be rich and famous? Look, maybe a guitarist for a world-class rock band.
A rock star, huh? Well, you'll need to take a look at whether or not this is a realistic goal, based on who you are and where you are. You have an axe?
What?
An axe. A guitar. You play guitar at all?
No, that was just a daydream.
Everybody daydreams, am I right?
Yeah.
At first, when I was thinking about being a photographer, I was really just daydreaming. I'd imagine myself like this superstar photographer. It was fun, but it didn't seem real. But then I found out about the kinds of jobs photographers really do and how technical the work is. I like paying attention to detail, and I've always been good with my hands, so that was a fit. And once I got a camera, it was something I could work at on my own. It started feeling real. I could really see myself as a photographer one day.
You can turn your daydreams into a vision of what you want to accomplish, the kind of person you want to be. The goals you set for yourself will have a big influence on what your future will be like.
I could see it. It was going to take around a year to learn the basics about photography. In 5 years, I wanted to be working on my first job as a photographer. In 10 years, my goal was to be a news photographer.
10 years? I can hardly even think about 10 days from now.
Right. Well, if you don't have an idea yet, what you're going to do when you grow up?
Well, that's not the main thing. You can have long-term goals that aren't about what you want to be when you grow up. Your goals can be about what you hope to accomplish.
Like getting an A in history?
Yeah. Doing well in school is your long-term goal. But to do that, you need to do better in history, right?
Right. But I'm not getting very far with it.
Well, Jory, what do you think the problem is?
Well, I'm doing good in math, but history, I don't know. My teacher says I have great ideas, but I don't get them down on paper. I know what I want to say, but it's hard when you have a long report and lots of other homework. So I get frustrated sometimes, you know? It's just too much.
Well, you've got a short-term goal, getting an A in history, but you need to figure out what specific steps you'll have to take in order to get there. Here's an example. I made this plan. Every day, I'd spend 1/2 hour on photography. I'd read about it and study. Then I'd practice. I'd check out cameras from the club and go out and take photographs on my own. Then later, I'd learn how to develop them in the darkroom at school.
Daniel, Jory, and the class talked about short-term goals and what plan of action Jory needed to set up to reach her goals. She decided that going from a C to an A all at once wasn't realistic, so she set new short-term goals. She decided she'd get a B by the end of the semester, and then she decided on some specific things she could do to help make her goal a reality.
My plan, by Jory. First thing is, I have to spend more time on my history homework. So my plan is to study for 30 minutes each night. The second part of my plan is to turn in my reports on time. Because that might be hard, the third part of my plan is to go in once a week for extra help. Oh, plus, part 4 of my plan, I won't do homework in front of the TV anymore.
Oh.
Remember, you've got to stick with your plans that you have for achieving your short-term goals. It's like there's a checklist in your head. Every day,